which we did for sort of 2 years. In 2000, 2002, we opened one more store and got the business up and running. She was powering along. And number 11's nearly ready to open.
Yeah.
And then number 12 is under construction. Funnily enough, I think our previous experience in franchising stopped us franchising.
Really?
We got to 10. We were actually at 10 stores before we even ever contemplated franchising. Just the general disputes normally. Big thing is the disputes that you normally find between the franchisee and the franchisor.
Cash-based business, what's the word for that? If you're selling a bottle of Pepsi, for instance, one bottle of Pepsi is one bottle of Pepsi, and you know that if you bought a carton of 24 and there's 2 left, that you sold 22.
Yeah.
And there's very few issues with that in franchising because you just get charged your fees on the 22 you sold. In pizza, well, how many bits of pepperoni?
Yeah.
You used 40 kilos of pepperoni. How many pizzas is that?
We're going a bit different. We're looking at the shops. Every shop we look at as a company shop.
Yeah.
So we weren't willing, and we even opened it as a company shop, so we weren't willing to think, or we didn't think that shop was going to be a successful shop, it wouldn't have opened.
We listed every problem that we could possibly see with franchising the pizza shops in general, and made sure that every single one of those issues we had a solution for before we started franchising.
As much as you try, you're not just making pizzas anymore, you're actually selling businesses. You become a business broker.
Right back in the days when we had 2 shops and Ant was running one and I was running the other one, we were creating systems that were based on larger companies.
Always planned on being big, bigger than what we were.
So we were developing pizza making systems and cost control systems and accounting systems and management systems.
And then shops, another way as well, the shops grew organically, so the shops grew on their own from the money made from those shops.
It was more expensive to not make any sales, so we just went ahead and marketed anyway.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford it, but we just did it. Because, you think, well, geez, I'm going to spend 6 or 8% of this marketing, on this turnover dollar in marketing, versus I'm not going to have that turnover dollar at all.
Yeah.
It was a fairly easy decision.
6%?
Yeah, 6 to 8. And if you added to that the cost of product, we do a lot of product-based marketing. If you added the cost of the product, it would be substantially more, Most of that is just a menu. With that, then there'd be a 10mm worth of coupons attached to the side of it on one that goes out. So the focus.
So we're not in that market of a discount. Then we enter a market that we don't want to be in.
Yeah. Well, I remember we were looking at a store in Townsville. Townsville's 1,400 kilometres north of there. And our bank manager said to us, no, you guys are mad, you've got to stay inside the geographic area. And at the time we thought it was a pain in the ass, but when we took that away and thought about it, we said, well, there's something in that, and they're easy to manage when they're closer. Our objective is 30 stores to cover Brisbane by the end of 2007, and from there we'll do the 2 closest coasts, and then the major inland city out here, and from there we'll go into state. At the moment, your average shop and your average location will be turnkey for about 250. But there's add-ons from there, be it vehicles or extra oven space or extra signage or opening marketing plan or whatever. A 6% franchise fee, which covers the maintaining the systems and all the stuff that we do to keep us on the cutting edge.
But no, then
there's a 6% marketing fund.
There's 6% marketing fund.
Which is where all that pretty much comes from. So we'll take care of radio or flyers or whatever. We encourage them to get out and meet their local PFC and their local church groups.
Most of our suppliers are national.
It's very important to us, long-term relationship with these suppliers. So, I think our gluten-free, a few years ago we pulled a team together and built a gluten-free pizza base. Anthony, who's not a celiac,
I'm not even a celiac, and
he'll eat them more often than an ordinary pizza, because they taste damn good. They'll be close to 80.
80% pizza? Out of the pizzas that you're selling, what percentage are gluten-free? Would you guess?
Small.
Yeah.
2 or 3%. More importantly, Tom, their families also would be customers we don't have. And it's more common to see a gluten-free pizza go out the door with 3 or 4 other products that aren't gluten-free.
Yeah. But very, very touchy thing, because obviously in some cases it can kill people.
Yeah, so very serious.
And being a pizza shop that has even flour in the air because of mixing dough, the environment, we purposely make our gluten-free a separate facility. And that goes into the shops vacuum sealed, so there's no way it can get contaminated. We have a separate trays that we cook it on. We have separate boxes, so it can't actually be given to the wrong person. So the whole
cutting
system,
mechanisms, the
whole thing has to, you have to do it properly.
I think a lot of people are crippled because of what might go wrong. But at the end of the day, we don't let that stop us from. If we don't let that kind of stuff stop us, we'd still have 2 shops. I'd be making dough right now, and so would Anne.
It wasn't the thing that happened overnight that you could see from, because obviously we've always been, but we slowly every day. We're always improving. But same again, as we've always kept improving the product, the sales have increased as well. So obviously they do directly. The only thing I could say of recent time was obviously stacking of ovens, where we probably, as soon as we open the floodgates or open the capacity, found the bottlenecks and opened them up. Well, we just went through some of the shops and found out that some of our high turnover shops and seeing what could be stopping them from climbing any further. Obviously we said, we'll just try to draw some business to the beginning of the week, but same as you try to bring business to the beginning of the week, that still promotes your weekends. So
the bell curve. There's always going to be a bell curve.
There's always still going to get busy on the weekend as well, where they're already at full capacity. Moved benches, made more benches,
put more phones in,
put more computers in, double the amount of oven capacity that we had, and build it and she will come.
And they came.
And they came. Myself personally, I've got 2 that I have done that did exactly that, and that was the flowers. Had an awesome week one week, and we went around and we delivered every house that we had delivered to, because we had their addresses, a letter with one flower, and put into their letterbox to every house that we did. It took 5 whole days before opening of the shop to do it, but then the business, like I said, you couldn't even cope with how busy it got.
The effort's not the significant thing, it's the attitude that you appreciate a customer so with that much.
Well, it was actually, I think it was just after Mother's Day, so actually the florists were all trying to get rid of all the excess flowers that they didn't sell. Number 2 was a letter to Mum, pretty much, a direct mail letter, so addressed mail to customers, to the mother, sort of saying, how about taking the night off, selling the sizzle, not the sausage, so to speak. Take the night off. It was summer. It was in the middle of a summer that was a stinking hot summer, and saying, look, why get in the kitchen and cook a meal with this heat and everything else? Sit back and make a phone call and give us a call. It was written directed to the lady of the house, and bang.
It's funny, we spent our whole life, business life together, focusing on, okay, this is a crisis, this is an issue, but what the hell good came out of it? And we keep working on problems, we keep workshopping them until we get to the point where we get something out of it. So as a result of that, there's nothing really that I can say was bad. We've made some dodgy employment decisions.
Yeah, not good employment decisions.
Which has cost us a lot of money.
And that's reference checks.
Reference checks.
We could have saved ourselves some big time.
And right now, everybody.
Now everyone.
Fairly hard.
Well, the big one we will find something out is prior employment in their history. So with that, you can see if they've been changing their jobs a lot, which could save a lot of time in training this person up, where they might only be with you for a short period of time, and it costs a lot of money to train someone up to a standard that we're happy with them running the shop. They'll come to work, they'll have a prior injury, come work for you, then that injury gets worse because they're working for you, but then that whole injury becomes your responsibility through your insurance, which then you're paying for many years to come. So that's and if we've done the references on the ones that things like that in the past, we've done the references, we would have pre-known that there was some cases of that.
You try to let that stuff bog you down.
But you can't let it bog you down,
An issue like that's going to cost you some money, right? But if you stop all of your growth and do nothing and get cooked in the squat, then that's going to cost you a whole bunch more money than that issue ever was going to cost. So you go ahead, you do the growth, you deal with those issues as they come up.
And they'll always come up.
They'll always come up. If you don't wake up in the morning thinking and dreaming about ways you can make better pizza and serve the customers better, don't get in. You've got to have, this industry, you've got to have some passion. I've seen plenty of people come in with plenty of money, and their whole scheme is to how do we rate them, because it's just blind and retire off them. And from what I've seen, that don't work, because customers see through that.